Halestorm dropped their new record, Everest. We chatted with Halestorm. We had RJ on the podcast to chat about the record. It came out on album release day. It is out right now. Go watch it. It was a phenomenal conversation. Really very honored that we got the opportunity to chat with RJ about the record. We have been notoriously critical of Halestorm on the podcast. We chatted about the last record. We did not like it. The singles thus far, we have been lukewarm about, indifferent to say the least. And I think that this record is absolutely a step up from what we've heard from Halestorm in the past. I'm not just saying that because we interviewed them. Gloria and I, we heard the record and we got in that call ahead of that interview, looked at each other and said, dude, this record actually ripped, because there was not a ton of hope going into it, and I still don't think that the singles on this record are the standouts, honestly. There was not a lot of hope on either of our ends going into this record, in terms of hearing what they were doing on the singles, because the singles were like these very Darkness Always Wins, which is a beautiful song, is this like very big, like theatrical, ballad that builds into this massive thing. And same with Everest, which was another single, the title track, just another one of these massive songs that just builds, and that's great. And those songs absolutely rip, but as singles, they're kind of like, all right, like, come on, like, is this what this?
They need the build up of the rest of the record around it.
Absolutely, and those songs stand out on the album. I thoroughly enjoy the record, but there was not a lot of hope on either of our ends. But listening to this record and getting to hear it in full, this record is phenomenal. I liked it a lot more than I expected to like a new album from Halestorm, and I like the way that it flows with the track listing. Kind of feels like you're climbing a mountain of some sort, like going through the album and then descending towards the very end with I Gave You Everything and How Will You Remember Me. But my favorite like run of the record is Watch Out, Broken Doll, and Killing. I think those three songs are just absolutely incredible, and the standouts on the record, those should not be forgotten about when going through the album. The top half of the album is just this incredible build into this crescendo that kind of happens around the midpoint of the record, and that part of the album should not be discarded at all. Absolutely listen to this album front to back. I think it'll blow you away. There were actually certain points of this album that gave me chills, going back and listening to it again, because it's this big, it's a massive arena rock record. That's what this is.
Yeah, I was gonna say arena rock. That is exactly, yeah.
And they just went all the way for it this time, and and track listing in mind, and just absolutely ripped it. And this is a really solid record for what it is. I'm pleasantly surprised by this one for sure.
You and me both. I mean, you kind of took all my points, but I'm happy you finally put like a genre to it, because every time we talk about Halestorm, I always picture it in an arena, and that's just how I see their music, and that's how I hear their music. Is it's just like, it just sounds like it was recorded and made for arenas. So arena rock, exactly. Yes, that makes me so happy that there's finally a word for it. I really enjoyed this record. I mean, as you said before the interview, we always talk a couple minutes before the interview to just kind of be like, so what'd you think of the record? Or like, anything you really want to talk about or point out.
We catch up, just in general.
Shoot the shit, and we both, were kind of blown away from the record off the rip, because it was just like, oh, damn. That really shows that sometimes fucking singles, you really need the fucking context of the record to thoroughly enjoy something. And honestly, being familiar with the singles and kind of where they were did help kind of get in and ease myself into the record. I knew off the rip, my personal favorite, I told you this, I was like a Woman Can, fucks. That song is incredible. It is.
I think it's got massive potential too. I think
it does, and I want that shit to blow up, because I think that song is great. I also liked Killing. I really liked How Will You Remember Me. That shit is incredible as a closer. I did like Everest in the context of the record, but honestly, the songs on the singles that are on the record are standout, but they aren't my favorite. Respectfully. I really like Broken Doll a lot. Darkness Always Wins is still kind of one of those songs where it's like, It's not my favorite. But Rain Your Blood on Me has grown on me.
Mhm.
Like thoroughly. I think that that song is actually really good. When it first came out, I don't think I was on the fence about it, to be completely honest, because I was like, I don't really know. I don't know. Context of the record, being able to sit with it while also digesting the rest of the record, I think it's fucking phenomenal. Um, Big fan. Hell yeah.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
happy. I'm happy. This shit's growth, bro. Shit's
Yeah.
awesome.
Hell yeah, they're wrapping up a tour supporting Volbeat, and then they're going to be touring the UK and EU, and I'm sure they're going to be, coming back around the states to do a headline run off the back of this record or another support, whatever it may be. So definitely keep the dates, keep your eyes peeled. They're not just going to drop this record and dip. That's for sure.